What you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a motherfucking
You better hack somebody. Welcome! We're back. We're back with the 8th overall power ranking. So 12 through 9, actually 12 through 10 to me, they kind of belong there where I have them, not where Rick has them. Maybe Jared doesn't belong in 12 and 11, but like we were talking about earlier, 10 through 7, it's really hard to grade. And when you go player for player, so Rick had Bob Ross at 9, I have him at 8. We're kind of close there. His quarterback situation is, to me, tops of the league. He's got Russell Wilson, amazing, right? TB12 is Rick doesn't like Tom Brady this year. I don't think he's ever had more weapons. Like he had Moss and Welker at the same time. Now he gets Evans.
That Hill's got a hit.
And Godwin.
That wall.
I understand the wall.
How's the offensive line in Tampa Bay? Like, honestly, I don't know. I know they addressed it in the draft.
I have no idea. But he's Tom Brady. He's the best quarterback ever, possibly. Like
Arians' offense is about throwing the ball down the field. When's the last time Brady's thrown the ball down the field? The guy can't even throw it down the field.
Okay, well, we're talking about a backup here. I mean,
I guess.
if you want a backup quarterback, I don't mind having Tom Brady on my roster.
All right,
year.
you win the argument on that. You can't argue that.
Okay, so Tannehill as a third quarterback. So his quarterback situation,
Tannehill's better than Brady. You're gonna play Tannehill over Brady.
I wouldn't play. For the record, I wouldn't play Tannehill over Brady. But moving on.
They'll sign Jameis Winston back.
This is why they're getting 15 minutes long. So moving on. Again, I'm going to harp on this. Bob Ross's running back situation is not to be trusted. Tevin Coleman. Look, Tevin Coleman, I bet you he pumps out 3 games where you're going to be like, holy hell, where'd that come from? Just like you did last year before he got hurt or whatever. Have fun deciding when those 3 games are. That's tough to do. Madison, I have Madison penciled in as his starter just because Cook's holdout. And I think Cook's holdout's for real.
I don't. He has no leverage.
The problem is, I don't view Madison like everyone else does because I am a boon. Let me hear you say way.
I don't think Madison is a number 1 guy. Like I think even if he wins that role, or if Cook holds out, you're having some type of committee there.
Right. I 100% agree.
But in that offense with the Vikings, you're gonna having their running back is gonna you want a running back there.
Right. And
although Boone,
I think Boone's a better running back. Like I think he's a better pure runner. Like just through the tackles, outside, inside.
Although those of you who had Boone in the championship or whatever, the playoffs in fantasy last year.
I won a Super Bowl and I had him in my starting lineup. That's all I know.
He didn't do anything.
What do you mean? He had 120 yards and 2 touchdowns in week 17.
17.
Oh, it doesn't matter because it wasn't in the actual 16. It does. I mean, it's part. He's a good running back. Anyway, I digress. Sony shit. Look, Sony had opportunity after opportunity, and I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Damien Harris a shot. I wouldn't trust Sony Michel this year, right? Would you?
But before, just as a disclaimer, Cam Newton signed with the Patriots like literally a half an hour ago. So before Newton signed, I would say yeah, because you're gonna make Stidham beat you, right? But
that makes sense. I never thought.
But now with
Cam,
the Cam signing, you have some type of production at the quarterback that you're actually worried about. That Sony might actually not be that bad. And again, we did these gradings before Cam was signed, so.
For the record, I wouldn't put Bob Ross anywhere else just because Cam Newton's signed.
No,
and Sony Michel.
But Sony Michel, I think, gains a little bit of value because you have to respect a passer now. You don't have to just...
Maybe a little bit, but I think that he's been in the league long enough to where the Patriots got a good long look at Sony Michel, and they're saying, man, we really missed on this pick.
Maybe.
So that's just a personal thought. Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen's going to be your starter. Sad to say, but when you look at Madison, Coleman, Michel... At least Cohen, you're going to get 10 points a game because he catches the ball in the backfield and he's a little burner.
He didn't even do that last year, though.
10 points a game?
No, not in a half point percent. Not in a half point.
I don't know. I think it's close.
He didn't do very well.
Either way, he's got Nick fucking Foles now, so of course he's going to blow up. Moving on. We talked about that long enough. We're going to go to his receiver spot. Obviously, we talked about the receivers. Bob Ross's receiver core is, to me, tops of the league. Again, I'm not a Ridley fan, but when you have Ridley as your flex spot and you're talking about a wide receiver 2, to me, a wide receiver 2, that's excellent. I mean, Paris Campbell is one we did talk about. Paris Campbell got hurt last year. We never got to see what Paris Campbell had to offer, and Frank Reich is talking big things.
Everybody loves Pittman, but maybe it's Campbell that is the one that actually steps into that.
Frank Reich's talking big things about Paris Campbell, and I think he's going to be the one that kind of takes over. You talked about passing the torch earlier. That T.Y. Hilton kind of gives a little bit of his routes to Paris Campbell. They're one and the same. So you get to your tight end spot, Bob Ross, and I don't understand. I love O.J. Howard's prospect. I love that he has Tom Brady now. I think that he's the guy in Tampa, not Gronk. So I think you're starting O.J. Howard. I kind of like Irv Smith. At the same time,
Dawson Knox, baby, I'm telling you, I do like Dawson Knox.
With
Like,
the Bills.
Just look at his Dawson Knox stats the second half of the year, and his air per reception yardage or something. It's something crazy. So I mean, I'm not crazy enough to put him in a top 12 guy, but I'll put him in that Herndon range where you got maybe the 15th best tight end, and you take a shot. If I'm throwing a guy out there for there, Dawson Knox is playing at least. O.J. Howard has 3. You got Brate, you have Gronk, and now you have 3 tight ends to feed. Irv Smith, again, you still have Rudolph there.
That's Irv's only downfall.
Dawson Knox, he's actually. I think Dawson Knox is gonna be better than what people think. Do I think he's gonna be a top 12 tight end? No. Do I think he has potential to be maybe the 15th best tight end? Yeah. I like him almost as much as any guy he has on his roster.
I'm just glad I don't have to deal with this crappy tight end situation.
I mean, when you're deciding between that Dawson Knox, you got some issues. So.
All right, so I'm going to go right into Bob Ross's draft grade. Rick already touched on Bob Ross, so he's got a different person at 8, obviously. Dobbins at 1.6, again, Jefferson at 2.2. Look, everybody who passed on Jefferson from 1.10 to 2.1, you suck. I take that back. 2.1 was summertime with Burrow, and he needed Burrow. He had to. 110 to 212. Whoever you were, y'all made mistakes, all of you. Because Jefferson is going to see the Diggs target. Who else is going to see that? Treadwell? Who else is in the Minnesota?
Some dude named Johnson. His last name's Johnson. I forget.
Johnson's. So Jefferson's got an immediate impact guy. He had over 100 catches last year in the SEC. He's a great receiver to put in there as a young guy, and he might not be the best physically, but when opportunity meets a little bit of talent, that's whenever you have fantasy production. P. Ryan at 3.12. I like that for Bell in the long run. I gave Bob Ross an A. Bob Ross gets an A from me, but he also is only in the number 8 spot.
So my number 8 spot is the Super Bowl loser, Ministry of Darkness. I think Adam already touched on Ministry earlier. He took a lot of hits for his team. He might have given up his best player in Julio Jones for not very much. He now has a lack of a true number 1 receiver. I think his receivers are Tyler Lockett and who's the other guy that he has? I forget. It's
Will Fuller?
Will Fuller. Will Fuller will be good for 25% of the season. Lockett.
John Brown lost touches to Diggs coming in. I mean, he
Right.
has to be the alpha there, I would think.
Right, and John Brown had for being John Brown, he had a good year last year.
John Brown's always good. His only
Right.
problem was he was with sickle cell or something. What was his deal?
And Lockett's success in the second half of the season wasn't that great either, and you have Metcalf on the
wasn't.
rise. So
Right.
I don't trust any one of his receivers. Traded Julio away for not great value. I mean, at that point, just hold on to the guy until he retires. I probably wouldn't have moved him.
Where'd Manning go? Do you know? I don't remember.
All of his running backs he went to the Saints.
Manning to the Saints.
Yeah. You're talking about Manny
Sanders.
Yeah, he went to the Saints. Is he on the roster there?
Yeah.
So that's not. You're probably gonna play him. So I like Sanders this year, to be honest with you. All of his running backs, Ministry could have a different role next year. So he has Aaron Jones. He might not be there. Doesn't seem, for whatever reason, the Packers like him. If that happens, he has Dillon to step in. Mark Ingram's probably not gonna be a Raven next year. Just age and although he's a younger 30 than you think, just because he split time all those years in Alabama. He split time with the Saints, so he's a little bit younger as far as mileage is concerned. And obviously he's a Raven, so I think he has another year left on his contract. I think they can get out of it if they want to. I guess it all depends on how Dobbins fits into that role. So yeah, so I think he's a team that goes down.
His tight end. I didn't touch on his tight end situation. It's really good.
Yeah, Ertz,
The whole way through.
Ertz, Ebron, and Everett. Ebron and Everett are two guys that like could be sleeper tight ends that might have their roles reversed. I mean, Ebron with Big Ben. Big Ben likes big targets. I'd rather have Ebron than Claypool, and that's a different story. But yeah, so I do like. He's Ertz. So Ertz is an automatic start every year or every week. So maybe he plays. One of those,
Yeah, he is.
Maybe he plays one of those tight ends instead of.
Remember when
receiver.
he caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl? This Super Bowl right here, guys.
As far as Ministry's draft, Rager at 1-9. I mean, you can't argue that. That's about where Rager's going to go in that 8 to 10 range. Dillon at 2-3, I think is super early. I mean, I know there was after those great running backs. What do you have? Dobbins, Swift, Taylor, and CEH, and then Vaughn is like the next tier. After that, those guys are just coin flips at that point. And getting that guy 2-3 over some of those.
So what happened to
top
this
receivers?
great draft class of running backs that they kept promising us last year? This happens every year, I think.
Well, right, and I think I know I'm a proven player over a rookie player because everybody gets so hyped over these guys.
Yeah.
And then you get a guy like Keyshawn Vaughn who nobody talks about. Now you're drafting him at 10, or even in the top 8, in some instances. Or you're drafting Dillon at 2-3, or Zach Moss at
And you're leaving guys on the board like Pittman or somebody who.
I mean, I drafted guys like Chenault and Brian Edwards in the 3rd round, who I probably would have taken over those running backs no matter what. But then again, running back is the biggest need in our league, so people get scared and they do that. So.
And I have lots of them for sale.
So
somebody give me a receiver.
My 8th team is Ministry of Darkness. His draft grade, I give him a C. I thought it's okay. I mean, Dillon a little early. If he doesn't take Dillon there, and let's say that's, I don't know, Mims or whoever was before that, yeah, like a Mims or even a Gibson, maybe a T. Higgins there.
T. Higgins.
It's probably higher, but Dillon at 2-3 probably lowers that grade a little bit. So
Yeah.
Ministry of Darkness, my 8th team with a draft grade of a C.
All right, and I can't. Hey, see, we're only two spots away. We're 2 spots away on some of these. 1 spot away on a lot of them. I'm wondering what our top 5 shapes up like. We might have the same Power 5. Who knows?